Welcome to Neurodivergent Relationships with Dr. Kathy Marshak, where we talk about the complexity of relationships between neurotypical and neurodiverse partners. These relationships can feel bewildering, even isolating, until you learn to take back your life and navigate the differences with clarity and confidence. In this special podcast series, I'm sharing stories from my own life. This series is a 4-part, and I'm calling it Searching for Home, Searching for Myself, a journey through Hawaii, Oregon, and my evolving connections to the land and the sea. I'm sharing these stories from my own life, stories about rediscovering myself, about loss and resilience, and about how our connections to people, places, and even the earth itself shape who we are. As an older woman going through a life review, I've been reflecting on what it means to belong to a relationship, to belong to a community, to belong to the world around us. You may be wondering, what does this have to do with neurodivergent relationships? I think it has everything to do with them, because so often in these relationships we feel lost. We feel like we don't recognize the world we're living in anymore, like the life we built isn't quite what we imagined. That's what this series is about, seeing things with new eyes and taking back your life in ways that matter to you. Don't forget, after each episode, you can join me for the podcast After Party, a live confidential video conference where we dive deeper into these topics together. Check the website listed on this podcast page, or you can Google me, Dr. Kathy Marshak, to find the latest schedule of events. Now let's get started. This episode 2 of the series, is called Bianca's Hawaii and My Hawaii, Seeing the World Differently. The last time I was in Hawaii, I took my daughter, Bianca, for her high school graduation. I wanted to give her an experience, one full of adventure, beauty, and joy, but what I didn't understand then was that she wasn't experiencing the same Hawaii I was. I had spent years falling in love with Hawaii, its land, its culture, the way it made me feel. I wanted to share that magic with Bianca. I thought this trip would be a gift to her, a way to celebrate her graduation, to make memories together, to give her an experience that she could carry forever, like me. But from the moment we arrived, I could feel it. Something was off. I tried to let her lead. I said, "You decide what to do. This is your celebration." But she couldn't decide. The choices overwhelmed her. So I picked a few things I thought she'd love. A tour of an arboretum because she loves plants, where we could walk through a jungle of rare plants. A hydrofoil ride to see dolphins leaping in the waves. And a helicopter flight over the island, soaring over waterfalls and cliffs. But her reactions were not what I expected. At the arboretum, she was terrified we'd get lost in the jungle. On the hydrofoil, while everyone was marveling at the dolphins, she was hiding in the cabin, overwhelmed by the wind and movement. The helicopter ride, oddly, that was the only thing that didn't seem to scare her. The hardest moment came one night back at the hotel. Bianca had a full autistic meltdown. You see, she has autism spectrum disorder. She was crying, screaming, rolling on the floor. She was so loud and distraught that hotel guests called security. I had to explain to the guard, she's autistic, she's not dangerous, she's not in danger, she's just overwhelmed. But no one understood. And I don't know if even I fully understood. Not then. I just knew that this wasn't the trip I had imagined. She wasn't experiencing Hawaii the way I was. She wasn't seeing the beauty. She was seeing chaos. She wasn't feeling wonder. She was feeling overwhelmed and frightened, terrified. It didn't end there. Even as we were leaving Hawaii, the tension wasn't over. At the airport, Bianca had another meltdown. I had misplaced her passport just for a moment, but for Bianca, that was unbearable. Her fear exploded into panic. She sobbed. She couldn't calm down. People stared at us. I felt their judgment, as if they thought I was a bad mother or that she was just acting out. But I knew better. This was her reality. This was how she experienced the world, not through excitement, but through fear. And I had to accept that this trip hadn't been a gift to her at all. It had been overwhelming, frightening, exhausting. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just about Hawaii. Bianca and I just didn't see Hawaii the same. We saw the whole world differently. I saw beauty, she saw chaos. I saw adventure, she saw unpredictability. I wanted to explore, she wanted to feel safe. And for the first time, I saw the fundamental truth of our relationship. We would always experience life differently. I'm neurotypical, she's neurodiverse. And sometimes that difference would mean we couldn't share the same joy in the same way. And this isn't just about Bianca and me. This is something so many neurotypical mothers and their neurodiverse children struggle with. We love them, they love us, but we experience the world in completely different ways, and that difference can disrupt the very bond we both want. It's not that Bianca didn't want to connect with May. It's that she was experiencing something entirely different than I was. And until I truly understood that, I was asking for something she couldn't give me in the way I expected. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Neurodivergent Relationships with Dr. Kathy Marshak. If these stories resonate with you, I invite you to join me at the podcast after party, where we can talk about these themes live and in real time. Please check the schedule at one of the websites. And here's a question to be thinking about before the next episode regarding Bianca's Hawaii. How do you handle it when someone you love experiences the world in a completely different way than you do? How do you handle that? That's something to think about until next time. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can find details for the podcast after party by checking the website listed on this page for the podcast, or you can Google me, Dr. Kathy Marshak, to find my latest schedule of events. Until next time, take care and keep searching for what truly matters to you.